And we welcome you guys back onto the pitch. We are moments away for this one about to start off. We bring you the starting lineups for the home team, San Diego 1904. We were just talking about the goalkeeper, Jean-Antoine, coming back onto the pitch and being a big-time goalkeeper for San Diego. And of course, it was Marcus Norris who was filling in for the number one pick in Jean-Antoine. But we have a pretty solid lineup with Brandon Zambrano Lopez also on the lineup, being a big-time goalkeeper when they played against that friendly against Temecula FC. Now, here's the starting lineups for Los Angeles Force. We're looking at something more or less from the last lineup from the last time. We have a couple of changes for LA Force, especially with Boniface Muchiri getting the starting spot over in this one today. So expect somewhat of a different approach for LA Force, but expect them to be coming up aggressive, especially today with they know how much this game means to them along with 1904. So the Force, expect them to either come up with a win, of course, but if they get that draw today, it'll be good enough to get them on the spot, that second spot over in the championship game. Now, if you're 1904, you have no other choice, but you have to be a very dominant team in LA Force. And if you're not able to get the win, looks like you're going to be staying here in San Diego. But we're just moments away for the ball to roll here in SDCCU Stadium. So just as a reminder, next Sunday will be the championship game over in a championship stadium over in the city of Irvine. It'll be on November 10th. Cal United getting that number one seed, so they get the home rights. And winner tonight's ball game will go over to Championship Stadium and will live for another day to play next week. So still waiting. We're still waiting for the away team. Still waiting for LA Force. The Force finishing off their final home game over at Rio Hondo College and had to take on a very tough opponent and a Cal United. And what a game it was for LA Force. Despite them, the first meeting with Cal United, they lost that one. It lost to a 3-0 loss for LA Force. Now, the last time that they played against Cal United last week, it resulted in a draw. So now just trying to get either another draw or even a win. But of course, as the ball will roll, and it'll be 1904 on the first possession. They give it over to the defenders. Let the defenders try to figure things out early on in the stages here. Cold conditions here in San Diego, California. So don't expect these teams to start off very slow. You're going to see them try to use up their energies, just trying to move the ball around over with their defenders to their midfield players. Ramos to his midfield player. Decides to go from the left flank, moves a couple of steps to his left, forward, then gives it back over to his defenders. So they're trying to look for, there's a pass going over onto the left. Trying to go from the left wing. 1904, clear foul there. So the ball will go back to the Force. So Miguel Perez, the goalkeeper for LA Force, did some mighty fine goalkeeping last weekend against Cal United, keeping them to just a 2-2 draw. It could have been much worse, and Cal United had opportunities to score, but Perez, with some brilliant goalkeeping, was able to get some very nice stops. Goal kick, going a long way. Whistle, going against the Force. So here's Here's a free kick. Antoine will be on the free kick. The first one. We haven't seen him on the pitch since September 28. Goes a long way, does not go short. They're going to battle it out to see whose ball is going to be. It'll be the Force ball. So September 28th, the last game that Antoine was on the pitch for. He would have, back in September 28th, he was substituted by Marcus Norris. And ever since then, Marcus Norris had to be that part-time goalkeeper. So throw in for the Force. 1904, come up on the takeaway, give that back over to their defender. They're going to let Ramos, the captain, look over around in the pitch. They give that one over to Cutler. Cutler will give that one back over here to his midfield player. That's Naeem Charles. Charles back to his defender. Moving a couple inches over to where the midfield players play at. It's a pass in there, looking for the first shot. There's already a stop by LA Force. Good stop already by LA. And here's another opportunity. 1904, looking for a clear route, looking for a shot. There's the shot right there. So 1904, they get their first shot out of their way. Not that bad of a shot, I would have to say, by 1904. That was Brandon Zambrano on the shot. Zambrano going to be a player that LA Force is going to have to keep a very close eye out on. He's going to be a very deadly weapon for 1904. So here we go. Good takeaway, 1904 on it there. They give that one back over to the guy. There's a goal. There's a kick by Antoine. Give that one back over to Cutler. Cutler, give it back over to their defender. Sissoko back on the ball. Tries to get that pass deep part of the pitch. And here it is. Counter-attack, offsides call going against LA Force. So 1904. They're going to move the ball slow. Cutler right back with it. This is going to be another dangerous weapon for 1904. Expect them to do some damage here. Sissoko right back with it. Gives that one back over to Ramos. Ramos over giving it to the left defender. Then back over to Sissoko. Right defender over to Cutler. Cutler back to Sissoko. Sissoko trying to move forward. Looking for a pass down low. Force very easily swipes that one away. Here's an opportunity for 1904. There's another shot there. Straight to the hands of Perez. And Perez snags that one easily. Boots that one over to the 1904 side of the pitch. That one will go out via throw-in for 1904. Sissoko up with it. Over to Ramos. To Cutler. They're trying to give that one right back over to Ernesto Espinosa. Both of these teams have many talented players, can make a big impact on this game. So expect any player to come up big for these two, especially for both wingers here. Here it is. Here's an opportunity there. That was snagged away by the Force. Force trying to maintain possession there. Excellent job by 1904 trying to put the pressure there. There's a slide tackle there. They take that one away. And 1904 try to get a pass there right off on the Force. So it results in a 1904 throw-in. Here they go trying to trying to tussle it out. Whistle going against the force. Now here's a pretty good free kick. They're close to the neighborhood, close to the facility, close to the goalkeeper. We'll see what 1904 ends up doing. They have two. It could be anybody trying to go up with that free kick. We'll wait and see who ends up coming up on the free kick. So here we go. There's the whistle. There's the cross. Deflected away from the force. 1904 coming right back up with it there on the right wing. Good slide tackle by LA Force, coming right back up with it. Then 1904 coming up with it. There's Ramos. There's a shot deflected off of the force. But defenders, they're doing the job, making sure the ball stays on the force side of the pitch. Things looking relatively good for 1904 early on, maintaining possession of the ball, taking care of it, along with coming up with some great shots. And there's a nice takeaway by LA Force as they just listened to me tell them how good 1904 has been playing. And there it is, 1904 coming right back up with the takeaway. And the Force coming up, swiping the ball away. Now they will get an opportunity here. The Force, there they are in the 18-yard box, and the whistle gonna go against the Force. So take a look at that replay. There's the cross there. Looks like it may have been an offsides call by the Force. They had a good recipe for success brewing there, but unfortunate enough, getting called to that offsides call. So here we go. 1904, Cutler maneuvering his way through the Force defense. They give that one back over to Espinosa. Espinosa, then right back over to Zambrano, to Espinosa. Trying to go in, inside of the 18-yard box. There's a shot, not enough sauce on the shot. Perez gets all of that one very easily. He's gonna roll that one over to his right defender. Slide tackle there by 1904. That one's gonna be booted away. LA Force still trying to find their comfort zone here in this one. Haven't had very many touches on this one yet. There's a throw-in. This one going a long way. 1904 deflecting that one. The Force trying to hang on to the possession. There's a shoulder tackle and a whistle going against the Force. Looks like that was Zambrano that was going down. Cutler. We'll give that one to Zambrano, then over to Sissoko. Sissoko trying to push forward. No whistle there. Does not get any whistles called there. Sissoko is trying to push his way through, and no whistle called there. Perez playing that one quick with Sissoko down. So 1904, they will have a man down, a very key player. Sissoko could be seriously hurt. He is very slow to get up. He's not getting up. But back to the action with LA Force fighting out the action, and they're going to finally blow that whistle to check up on Sissoko. You know the home crowd, not a big fan of that one. And there you have it. Sissoko along with Perez going face to face. And things are not getting pretty here. They're just trying to put some ice to try to extinguish the burns here. So let's take a look at that replay once again. Sissoko trying to push forward. There was definitely some contact there by LA Force. Giovanni Vasquez that was there on the shoulder tackle. There was no penalty kicks or any whistles called there in the 18-yard box. Sissoko very slow to get up. Perez was there to try to give him attention. Then Sissoko, not very happy with it, and was engaged with Perez. But of course, you have to expect that from a game like this. These are two games, these are two teams here on the pitch trying to fight their way to that final championship spot. So expect energy to be at an all-time high here onto the pitch. So let's go back into action with Sissoko. Gets that one taken away by the Force. The Force now trying to come up, trying to look for a spot there. There's the cross. That one taken away by 1904. Not exactly out of the woods just yet. The Force saves that one over there on the left wing. Cutler putting up some good defense. There it is. Cutler trying to boot that one away. The Force maintain possession. Antoine will collect it. Tell Ramos, no, I got it. Decides to give it over to Ramos. Ramos looking around the pitch. Gives it over to Sissoko. Cutler. Over to Espinoza. Back to Espinoza. Trying to push forward. And there's a whistle going against the Force. So already early on, the temper's flaring here in this one. And you can expect the officials in this one to very much calm it down. Tell the guys, hey, guys, let's calm it down a little bit. Let's not lose our cool, our temper here. Let's put up a good example for these home crowd, this home stand here in San Diego. And a very good homestand attendance indeed. Right in the final moments where this game was just about to start, they just came flooding in. So here's a free kick for 1904. Whistle off. There's the cross. Looking for it there. Force booting that one away. Give it back over to their midfield player. That's Zambrano. Long pass. Trying to give that one over to Espinoza. The Force. Trying to boot that one away. Cutler. There's a long cross. Looking for a man there. Perez all over it. Easy for Perez to handle there. Looks all over the pitch. Boots that one away, and it'll stay 1904 throw-in. Cutler gives it over to Zambrano, to Sissoko. And Sissoko gives it over to the left, to the midfield player. And trying to maneuver around and giving that one right back to the Force. Force, no whistle there as 1904 player gets tripped up. One pass there, no whistle there. Once again, they're going to let them play it through as 1904 loses that one. LA Force, they're going to slow things down once again. And you can see that 1904 putting on the pressure on... Trying to put on the pressure on the Force. Ramos gives it over to Sissoko. They got to get the ball out of their side of the pitch. And Sissoko actually boots that one away. As Force looking to get their first shot off here in this first half. So looking for that throw-in. Like Tenko on the throw-in. And there is a shot trying to get that one off. Too many black jerseys down low. They give it back over to Antoine, the healthy Antoine. Boots that one away, but gives it right back over to the Force. But 1904 receives the header from the Force. Sissoko looking around the pitch. Gives that one deep over to Espinoza. Saves that one from going out of bounds. Gives that one over to Zambrano. Then gives it over to Laborio. Then here's Zambrano over on the right wing. Looking for some help. There's a cross there. Instead deflected by the Force. Trying to maneuver their way there. LA Force takes that one away rather easily. Got to do a better job there if you're 1904. Got to take better care of the ball. Espinosa looks around. Tries to give that one over. No whistle there. Espinosa seems to be a part of the action every time. And Cutler, he's going to give that one back over to Laborio. Then Sissoko. Short pass over on the left wing. Back to Sissoko. Ramos, the jefe of the team. Then to Laborio. Laborio gives that one over to Espinosa. Espinosa gives that one over to Sissoko. They're inching little by little over to the goalpost. They're making some forward progress here. Espinosa looking for the pass inside. And it'll be 1904 losing it. Force trying to fight that one off. It's going to be a 3-on-1 handball. Very easy to call there. Going against LA Force. So that was Marlon Merlano that was on the handball there. Very easy one to call there, especially from home. Is that one be booted away? 1904 will be on the throw, and Espinosa looks in. Cutler was saying for him to do the throw-in, but instead Espinosa will do it himself. (1904). Here we go. Attacking on the left wing. There's a cross there. A shot actually going off. And Perez, again, very easy goalkeeping for him. So expect Perez has been very busy today. Not quite been playing overtime. Today hasn't been putting in the overtime hours just yet, as Antoine almost used his hands there, but able to give that one back over to Ramos. And Ramos to Sissoko, back to Ramos. He boots this one a high, long ways, as 1904 trying to hang on to it. They give that one back over to Perez. Perez. 1904, all over at Laborio. Then to Zambrano, to Cutler. Cutler, he's going to give that one back over to Antoine. And how 1904 has missed their goalkeeper in Antoine. Very good goalkeeper indeed for 1904. Here they are on the attacking front. They give that pass over, and this could be a good one. Instead, taken away by LA Force. Force, despite them not having very many possessions here in this first half, they have been playing one heck of defense. And a whistle being blown against LA Force, trying to calm it down before any yellow cards are going to be issued here. So here we go, a free kick going for 1904. And so far, 1904 have had 3. This is their 3rd free kick that they've had and have been pretty close to the goalpost. So we'll see what the end result is for this one. This one up. Perez, easy one for him to handle. So it's easy goalkeeping for Perez, but definitely has been very busy for him. For the very talented goalkeeper for LA Force. And speaking of the goalkeeper himself, Perez up with it. He's going to help that one and kicks that one over and about midfield. Force trying to come up with something quick here. Antoine! Wow, he boots that one and absolutely flips 360. Play is still alive, but Antoine colliding with LA Force there. Take a look at that replay once again. That was a good through ball there. Antoine trying to come up with it, absolutely flips. And I mean front flips there. But you can clearly tell there were no bad intentions for that play. You know, they're just trying to go for the ball, not trying to attack Antoine. But if you are Antoine, want to be careful. You're just coming back from injury, so be careful with that. So here we go. Whistle going against LA Force, and things getting very scrappy early on in this one. There's the yellow card going against LA Force.
Yellow card issued to number 19, Mark Tango of LA Force.
So the yellow card going against Mark Tanko. So the first one issued today, and I would say a good yellow card for LA Force. Let's take a look at that replay once again. Tanko comes into there, a slide tackle, definitely trying to go for 1904. That was Eder Ariola that was with the ball. So here we go with a free kick. Just waiting up on the whistle. This is free kick number 4 for 1904. There it is, that one up, not quite out of the woods just yet. And LA Force will boot that one away, and it'll be another opportunity for 1904. So the corner kick, 1904. This is the first one in the game. We'll see what 1904 can have brewing here. There it is, corner kick deflected away from 1904, still not going away with it. There's one shot, and 1904 not able to get anything out of it. Cutler coming up on the takeaway, still not quite there. There's a pass trying to get that one off. There's another shot, will roll out of bounds. So 1904 coming up very aggressive early on in here. There's that takeaway by Cutler. Was trying to give that one. He thought about giving that one over to the right wing and just could not seem to find it there. But 1904, they're hungry and they're dedicated. Trying to give that one over to Nelson Blanco. His home crowd definitely wanting some calls here, and there's a whistle going against 1904. And you can definitely see that it's Kazuma Suzuki putting his hand on his chest saying that was my fault. Tries to pat LA Force on his back. Joshua Colwell, big time player for LA Force, contributor last weekend against Cal United, scored one of the goals for LA Force last weekend. So here we go, free kick at about midfield. They give that one back over to their defenders. There's a long cross. Defenders for 1904 now coming into the 18-yard box. They're trying to put it in reverse, and it'll stay as a forced ball. Gregory Salazar looking around with those bright neon orange cleats. So if you ever need to find the big fella, just look for those orange cleats. So whistle going against LA Force. That's Marvin Merlano on the whistle to give that one over to Sissoko. Sissoko tries to give that one over to his midfield player. Sissoko again trying to give that back to his midfield player. 1904 still up with the possession. Cutler, very important piece for 1904. Up with it. Then back to Ramos, the captain. Sissoko pushing forward, looking around, trying to spread out the pitch, and the Force trying to track that one. So throw in for 1904. They're here with 2 wins, no draws, and 3 losses. They're looking to even up that record, being at 500, 3-0-3. No draws on the year, but this game not going to be a game that they can afford to draw. So not the time for a draw here. Cutler putting on some good moves. There's a shot there. Too much sauce on there, resulting in a bitter ending there, and a very bitter recipe at the end. But you can see that Cutler, he has some room and did the wise thing and decided to take the shot there. He was very close behind the goalpost. So you never know. Better to take the shot than to ever regret. Wow, I should have taken the shot. Mighty fine goal kick by the goalkeeper Perez. So 1904, trying to get the ball out of their side of the pitch. This one booted a long way. Zambrano trying to fight for that one. Said Force trying to fight through again. There's the big fella again in Salazar. Long pass over to the right wing. Too much to handle there for the Force. Throw in 1904. As for LA Force, they come into SDCCU Stadium with a record of 2 wins, 2 draws, and 1 loss on the year. And a whistle call and an easy yellow card is going to be called against 1904. So it's going to be a yellow card going against 1904. It's going to be on Abdoulaye Sissoko. So now both teams with the yellow card of their own. So in the 30th minute, Abdoulaye Sissoko with the yellow card. And Marchenko with the yellow card as well. So it looks like this will be the first free kick for LA Force that's going to be very close to the goalpost. Sissoko just trying to stick around and just trying to say no bad intention for there. So that was Boniface Muchiri going down on Sissoko's slide tackle. So we're going to wait and see who ends up coming up on that free kick. You can see that there's 4 players trying to come up, trying to discuss, see where, first of all, who's going to take this free kick. And then second of all, trying to see how they can get this free kick past Antoine. So Alvaro Zavala in that pack, along with Muchiri. So what you see, looks like it could be Muchiri that's going to be on that free kick. And then they have it, the Great Wall of 1904. There's still a trio of Force players. There it is, and there's the free kick, and there's the goal. It's LA Force striking early on here in this one with Alvaro Madrigal Zavala on the free kick, bends that one in, and just like that, LA Force on top of this one, 1-0 here in San Diego. So there's the free kick and some beautiful bending action there by Zavala. Zavala all over that free kick. And wow, just cannot get enough how beautiful of a free kick that was. And Sissoko, you definitely know, regretting every moment of that yellow card. But of course, got to get back into action. Not entirely over yet. So the Force leading this one. For those of you at home cheering on for the Force, happy times for the Force. Good slide tackle by 1904. Remember, not over yet. It's going to be exciting remainder of the first half and whatever's to come in the second half. Salazar tries to throw that one in. Cutler is all over it. Sissoko fends off one defender. Here's the counterattack for 1904. Trying to get something brewing here. Tries to give that one over to Espinosa and LA Force. And a foul going against 1904. So ref looking like he's taking out the yellow card. And there's another yellow card. So Brandon Zambrano, he's charged with the yellow card. And that's the second yellow card going against 1904 with a 2-minute span. So 1904 got to clean up the act a little more. Not exactly what you want to do here. Giving up too many yellow cards can add up, and especially with that yellow card that Sissoko was charged with, ended up in a goal for LA Force. So Sissoko to Ramos. That pass still not quite done yet. There's a whistle and a foul going against LA Force. So things getting very chippy here in SDCCU Stadium. And here's a very dangerous free kick for 1904. Look at that replay as Ramos gets that pass inside. A little soft touch by 1904. And trying to come up all over it was Zambrano. Trying to come up clean with it. Ended up getting hit with that slide tackle. And now it's going to be a free kick. So it could be, potentially could be Espinosa or Ramos that will be on that free kick. Looks like potentially Ramos. Discussing things over. I'm going to say Espinosa. There's the whistle. Actually, potentially Ramos. Espinosa actually with it. Comes up on that free kick. A little too high on it. Let's take a look at that one once again. Espinosa comes up with it, too much on it, but you can see trying to aim for that top right corner of the goalpost, trying to come up with something big. As Miguel Perez fakes his goal kick, thinking he was going to go short instead. Looks like he's going to go long. Trying to place his Force players in the proper spots. This one going a mile away. Ramos boots this one, elevates this one high. Again, this is Alex Naveja bringing you guys NISA Western Conference action here in SDCCU Stadium here in the city of San Diego. LA Force, for those of you guys just joining us, LA Force leading this one 1-0 on a free kick against Alvaro Salazar. Coming up on the free kick had some very nice bend action on it that got that one to move, shooting that one straight, then bend it over to the left. Let's get back into action very quickly here onto the pitch. As 1904, looks like they're getting something cooking here on the LA Force side of the pitch. There's the throw-in. LA Force been doing so all game long. They've been playing some excellent defense, and here they come on the counterattack. And there's already been 3 yellow cards issued tonight, as Mark Tanko on 1 yellow card. He got the yellow card in the 23rd minute. Yellow card for Brandon Zambrano on the 40th minute, and Abdoulaye Sissoko on with the 30th minute. Long throw in for the Force. So here we go. Counterattack, 1904. Zambrano then gives that one over to Cutler. Cutler finding some space there, trying to give that cross over the 18-yard box. No luck there. 1904 coming right back up with it. Here we go. There's a shot there, but just not cooked enough on that one. That one left boiling too long. So Perez, goal kick pending. Looks around the pitch. Here, this one going a long way. Cutler on the header. It's Espinosa to Laborio. Laborio boots that one out. To Laborio, back to Ramos. Ramos trying to get something going over on the left wing. There's a long cross, but Perez all over it. There was one of the 1904 players just making a visit. That's actually Suzuki that was paying a visit over to Miguel Perez. Ramos plays that one forth. Passes midfield. There's a long cross, trying to give that one over to his left wing. Suzuki there in the 18-yard box. And the Force come right back up with it. Force trying to get that one out of their side of the pitch. 1904 making it very difficult for them to get that one out. That one skied as 1904 will be back on the throw-in, but one of the LA Force players seems to be slow to get up. So it looks like it's Boniface Muchiri. Muchiri needing some attention, has been actually down for a very good amount of time. Hopefully nothing too serious for Muchiri. Maybe just some attention with his trainer. You can see Sissoko just sticking around, checking on Muchiri. Just trying to make sure that Muchiri is all right. So as you can see, we have now made it to the 41st minute of the game. And LA Force leading this one, and they've been using their Jedi mind tricks on 1904 tonight. And Jedi mind tricks as in not allowing 1904 to even make any goals tonight. They've so far have been very good defensively, despite 1904 maintaining possession for a majority of the first half, coming up with some shots. And even then, it's the Force that leads this one, despite them not having as many touches as 1904. Perez with a couple of fakes. Hits that one over to 1904 side of the pitch. This one going a long way. Suzuki trying to track that one down. Ran into some traffic there. The Force trying to catch that one back. The long pass. Trying to give that one over to their right winger. So a free kick for the Force. They're going to go with a long pass inside of the 18-yard box. And the whistle going to go against the Force. Cutler. Give that one back over to Antoine. Antoine gives that one to Ramos. Here's a pass. With some real estate open there on that left side. Tries to give that one over to Cutler. And LA Force coming up on the takeaway there. There's going to be no offsides there. And no. And there's going to be a whistle. And it looks like a red card going against Antoine. So a red card being issued rather quick. And Antoine will be heading back over to the showers rather early, not exactly on schedule. So Antoine, he's done. He's going back, and he's not going to be very happy about that call. So it looks like Marcus Norris will be coming onto the pitch. Just look at that replay. It was the Force coming up on a very good counterattack there. You see that Norris was trying to go every intent just for the ball, and instead ended up getting that red card. Fortunate enough, that was just right outside of the 18-yard box, so no penalty kick there. Just waiting up on Marcus Norris to come onto the pitch. And this home crowd going nuts right now. You could just listen to how frustrated this home crowd is. It's been a roller coaster of emotions for this 1904 home crowd here. Yellow cards being issued to their 1904 players. A red card being issued tonight. But the type of game that you would expect. Just two teams going back and forth, fighting it out for that final spot for the West Coast Championship game. So there we go. Marcus Norris jumping onto the pitch.
Ladies and gentlemen, substituting into the match, number 1, Marcus Norris!
So now if you're 1904, what do you do in a situation like this? Now instead of having 11 players on the pitch. Now you only have 10. It's going to mean they're going to have to play more of a defensive game. And just fortunate enough that this ball is going to be marked right outside of the 18-yard box. No penalty kick. Still an opportunity. Still keep it at a 1-0 game. Here we go. Whistle blown. 1904. Great wall is formed there. That one right off of Norris. And the Force still trying to attack. And there's goal number 2. Alvaro Zambrano coming up huge. Zavala coming up huge. So take a look at this. Perez on the free kick, putting everything on that one. Coming up on the rebound. Zavala all over it, puts it back into the net for that second chance. As now, LA Force have now doubled up their lead 2-0 here with just final moments of this first half. And it's been a very interesting first half. The Force, 2, 1904, zip. Both goals scored by Alvaro Zavala. And so far, 1904 have not been able to find their recipe for success. And now, being short of one player, it's going to put them in a big-time crisis. But we'll wait to see what they end up doing. They could potentially try to put at least one here with these final moments of this first half. Look, Sissoko trying to join into the pack there. 1904. Just trying to cut this deficit in half, potentially. Ramos all alone over on the left side. See if they can try to trick out the defense now. They're going to try to go from the left. And the whistle will blow, as that's going to conclude here in this second half. And your LA Force winning this one 2-0. And wow, how they have been doing Jedi mind tricks and have been using the Force against 1904 in this one. And they have been playing some pretty good soccer, especially offensively, and just taking advantage of these calls going against 1904. Not exactly the first half you want to have if you're San Diego 1904, but a very good first half for the Force, playing some excellent defense throughout this half and just being able to keep 1904 rather quiet. But if you are a fan here in SDCCU Stadium, you have not been kept quiet, because they have been making some serious noise, and by noise, they've been booing with some of the play tonight. But it's been a very fun one calling this one, with both of these teams going back and forth, and you could just see how much energy is onto the pitch, how much enthusiasm, how much this game means to both teams tonight. But you guys are experiencing a very good one tonight. And remember, don't forget, on Saturday, November 9th, NISA will have the very first East Coast Championship game. It'll be hosted by Miami FC, taking on against Stumptown Athletics. That game will be on at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And as for the West Coast Championship game, that game will be next Sunday on November 10th. And it'll be against Cal United, against winner of this game. Or even if you are LA Force, if you get a draw, then you are making your way over to Championship Stadium over in Irvine. That game will be on 4 p.m. Pacific time over in Irvine. So hope you guys could join us for that very next game. But without further ado, it's halftime here in SDCCU Stadium. And I am Alex Naveja stepping aside for halftime as LA Force 2, San Diego 1904 nothing. 2-0 here in SDCCU Stadium with the away team LA Force 45 minutes away, or in other words, another half away from making their way over to Championship Stadium for next Sunday's West Coast Championship game. This is Alex Naveja bringing you guys the final half of this one, with LA Force leading this one 2-0 from both the goals from Alvaro Madrigal Zavala over in that first half. Both of them coming off of fouls that 1904 committed, as the ball will roll. And it will be LA Force that will start up with the first position, as Sissoko will track it down and will roll out of bounds. First goal was scored back in the 32nd minute over in the first half. Alvaro came up with a free kick and was able to bend that one over on the left side of the goalpost. Then in these final moments of the first half, with a foul that was committed by Antoine. It was a red card that was issued to the goalkeeper. You got a goal kick, and here, let's go back to action very quickly. And there's an opportunity for LA Force. (1904) properly placed there in the defense. That was Sissoko that was all over it. If he did not come up with that deflection, we could be looking at a 3-0 ball game, as it'll result in a corner kick for LA Force. So here we go. There's the corner kick. Some bend action there. Norris able to handle that one rather nicely. That one will be given over to Ramos. Ramos running into some LA Force trouble. And here we go. Here's going to be a leg race for the ball. Munafasi trying to come up on the shot there. Instead, Norris handles that one completely. Norris trying to look around. Just straight to Ramos. Hey, I need you to scoot back so I can give you the ball. Ramos back to Norris. Force putting on the pressure early on here in this second half. Suzuki, slide tackle. They're going to let it play on. They're going to try to go from the right winger there. LA Force now coming up with a kick, booting that one away. That's Gregory Salazar. 1904. Got to come up with a goal here, at least to try to cut this deficit in half. The San Diego crowd very much looking for a goal here. They've been holding back that energy all game long, looking for a goal to cheer about. There's the cross there. Suzuki trying to come up there, but instead, Perez all over it. Very good placed cross by 1904. But all you can do is tip your cap to Miguel Perez, the goalkeeper for LA Force. Offsides call going against LA Force, and despite the play being dead, there was still contact being made there. As you can see, LA Force trying to talk with the officials. He has a yellow card in his hand. We'll see if he's going to issue the yellow card. And Muchiri committing the foul there despite the whistle being blown. Looks like the yellow card, yes, it is issued to Bonifaci Muchiri. Very early stages here in this first half. So that is 4 yellow cards issued with 1 red card. So remember, 1904 going into this second half with only 10 players on the pitch. So we'll see how they'll deal with them being short 1 player on the pitch. There's the long cross for the Force. Ramos, that one going straight to Norris. Norris boots that one over to Ramos. Ramos all alone. over on the left side of the pitch. That one elevated up. And that one will be booted high. There's a long pass. But it's Zucco getting all over that one. And Espinoza trying to race that one over, trying to keep that one from going out of bounds. He does save that one. It's a 2-on-1 over on the right wing, trying to fight for it there. And there we go. A couple of exchanges from both, looks like from both Espinoza and Salazar. Folks, we could be saying the new rise of a rivalry here in NISA soccer. You can tell both of these squads not exactly enjoying each other's presence tonight. This could be the rise of a rivalry that is brewing up tonight. You see officials trying to spread it out there in the 18-yard box. Trying to say, hey, there needs to be some space there in the 18-yard box. Here's the free kick for 1904. Some banding action there. That one will be booted out. So here's the first corner kick of the half. And 1904 will get a crack at it. Here we go. There's the corner kick. This one, there's a header there. Perez handles that one rather nicely. A throw going a long way for the force. Norris elevates that one. Suzuko planted underneath it. 1904. Fighting it out over in midfield. The force, there's a long pass over on the left winger. As 1904 will come up with it quite nicely. Espinoza all by himself over on the left side. Espinoza with the fake on the left. Gives it back over to Ramos. Ramos will give that one back. And there's 1904. They losing his footing there. As Buchiri, he's going to race over. Saves that one from going out of bounds. Muchiri still working on here, and there is a nice deflection there by Norris. So Norris getting his first set of minutes here in this first half and coming up with a big-time deflection there. Look at that replay. Beautiful pass by LA Force. And Norris able to get all of that one. It'll be a corner kick for LA. First one of the half. There's the corner kick. That one deflected away by 1904. So the Force coming right back up with it. They stay with it. They go with the left side. Now they're looking for the cross. There's a beautiful place cross there. Just missing Muchiri there by inches. Muchiri was trying to come up with the header to try to put it into the net. So Norris busy here in this one. Busy in this second half. Norris looking around. Waiting for that whistle to be blown. But as waiting for the whistle to be blown, looking around to see where he's going to aim for onto the pitch. So a sub being made. So Kanoa Bailey coming onto the pitch, and that's going to be it for Boniface Muchiri. So Muchiri taking the game from the sidelines, and Bailey will be onto the pitch. Throwing, 1904. Still looking for that first goal. Here's a through ball. Trying to get that one over to Suzuki. Suzuki gets a pass off, but the Force come right back up with it. But 1904, they come back up with the possession. Salazar for the Force, coming right back up with it, comes up with the throw, and this one, a good throw-in going, having some very good distance on it. Laborio to Ramos, then back to Norris. Norris looking around, doesn't know where to get this kick to. Gives that one over to Espinoza. Espinoza, good service ball there. Looking for an opportunity here, a good counterattack. Laborio, then he gives that one. There's the cross. Espinoza trying to get himself into the mix, but Salazar outsizing Espinoza there. Salazar does win the height battle. Norris comes up with it as 1904. That's Kenton Olive that's joining onto the pitch. LA throw-in, and it'll be another throw-in. Looks like it'll be another LA throw-in. They're gonna try it again, throwing it over to 1904 side of the pitch. Defenders all over that one. They sky that one onto the night sky. Very cold temperatures indeed here in San Diego. And with cold temperatures, if you're the players, got to be careful. Make sure not to sustain any injuries. Whistle going against LA Force. Let's take a look at that replay. Once again, you can see there's a foul there by LA Force. Very easy one to call there. So here we go. Free kick for 1904. This crowd been looking for something to cheer about all game long. There's the free kick. That one too much sauce on it. So rather a pretty relaxing second half so far for Perez. Hasn't had very much to play about right now. And Perez, there it is on the goal kick. And Ramos coming up on the mix there, and ended up, it was a whistle going against LA Force. Sissoko trying to push his way forward. It's a 2-on-1. There's a slide tackle there, getting a foot in there. Was the Force. 1904 coming right back up with it. Then the Force coming up with it. Trying to use that one-man short to their advantage. Here they go on the counter attack. There's a good takeaway by 1904. Easy no whistle call to be made there. Now 1904, giving it over to Ramos. You got to see that there's a window over on their left side. Some real estate available there on the left. And there it is. Eder Arreola was right there on the left side, and a whistle. There's the yellow card that's going to be presented there, and some pushing and shoving there on the pitch. Look at the replay. Jesus Gonzalez on that foul. So another yellow card to add to the collection for LA Force. Here's a free kick for 1904. There's the shot, the free kick. There's a collision there. That has to be a yellow card there. There has to be a penalty kick. And there's the yellow card presented to Perez. So check that out once again. Look at that free kick. And you can see Suzuki trying to come up with that. Perez, despite him trying to go for the ball, Suzuki right in front of his lane. There was clear intent there by Perez. So a very easy yellow card to be given to Miguel Perez. And these yellow cards definitely stacking up. Hopefully by the end of the game, it's not going to result in a deck of cards. That's yellow card number 6. And a red card. And here's this penalty kick to be pending. This could be a big time yellow card. Look at the smoke being made over there by the outsiders. There's still some words to be exchanged there. You can see that they're going to have to be separated. And you can see this home crowd. They are getting back into this one. This penalty kick can cut that deficit right in half. And little by little get 1904. Get them right back onto the game. This would be a big time penalty kick. And easy to say that these yellow cards are a big time factor. So here we go. Espinosa. There it is! Espinosa on that penalty kick, gets that one clean over on the right goal post, and just like that, cuts the deficit in half, 2-1. Still, Force leading this one, and folks, this is only going to get even more interesting. Yellow cards being issued left and right. Goals being scored also left and right. We have ourselves an interesting one, folks. And I can tell you right now, it's not going to finish 2-1. Expect there to be more goals. Expect this game to get very spicy, as it has been so throughout this one. So you don't want to go away for about the next 28 minutes. And here we go. Whistle going to be called against 1904. So substitution being made. So Lorenzo Ramirez coming out to the pitch. Suzuki will no longer be on the pitch. He'll take in the game from the sidelines. Markchenko gathering himself up. And here's a free kick for LA Force. There's the long free kick. This one going a long way. Norris saying, "I've got it." Gives that one over to Sissoko. And gives this home crowd brand new hopes. So here we go. Espinosa coming up on the counter attack. There was a foot that was left out there by the Force. No whistle. There's a long cross. Trying to come up with it. Instead, Perez takes it away quickly. Comes up on the kick. Tries to come up with it with the lone Force all alone over on the 1904 side of the pitch. So here we go. There's a clean pass. Trying to get something going there. Boots that one away. Ramos all over it. Ramos. Then gives that one right back to LA. There's that pass. The defenders, Laborio comes up with it, the midfield player, gives it over to Sissoko. Sissoko, it's a 2-on-1, runs into some traffic, gives that one right back over to the force. There's a long pass as Ramos tracks it down. Norris able to back up Ramos there. And Ramos gives it over to Laborio. Sissoko pushing forward. There's the pass, trying to give out to Espinoza. Clean through ball there. Instead, maybe one step off. You can see 1904 is trying to get something cooking there. And you can see that LA Force are just trying to go with those long passes and maybe try to do some cherry picking and trying to come up with those long passes as they know 1904 being short a player with that red card. Trying to fight for the ball. Trying to hang on to it. Espinoza goes through two defenders, trying to find some service. Unfortunately, just could not find it. Laborio tries to come up with a shot there. Defender backs it up. Laborio comes back up with the action, and there's a whistle. And it's going to go against Salazar. So look at that replay. Laborio trying to come up with it. You can see Salazar was actually pulling down the player. So here's a free kick opportunity. So all three goals being scored from free kicks or fouls in the 18-yard box. So here it is. They go with this one short, this one deflected, and not able to make any contact there. Perez picks up the ball, looks around. Looking around in the pitch, you can see that you see the players trying to stick around. Looks like they are trying to figure something out there on the pitch. Looks like there is going to be a substitution to be made for LA Force. So there's the goal kick. And there it is. Force, one player all alone over on the left side. Instead gives it back over to his midfield player. So Christian Cardenas coming into the game as Alberto Gonzalez will be going over to the sidelines. Perez picking it up. Throws that one over to Tanko. Over to his midfield players. Tanko back up with the touch. Too many black jerseys. Continue to push forward. They're going to decide to give it back over to the defenders. Salazar trying to come back up with it. That one out of bounds. As Espinoza trying to race over there, but you see as LA Force all over it. Here we go. 1904 coming up on the counterattack. Too many white jerseys. A 3-on-1. Easy for LA Force to take that one back. Good defense throughout the game for LA Force, not giving 1904 too many opportunities to come up with goals. As we were mentioning before, all of these goals have been coming up on these fouls that both teams have been committing. If there's been clean soccer playing throughout the game, who knows how the outcome of it could be right now. So whistle going against LA. San Diego. See if they can get something cooking here. Try to go with that no-look pass, but not exactly the best of passes there. As Nelson Flores, Sissoko pushing forward, looking around. Tries to give that one over to Blanco. He has an opportunity there. Tries to get the cross. Good defense once again by the Force. And here they come on the counter attack. It's going to be a 2-on-3. Looking for a window. Trying to get that cross there to get past Norris instead. Try to get that cross off. 1904. Able to control that one cleanly. Bailey was trying to control it. Said boots that one away. Tanko will get the throw-in. They're going to tell Tanko to have to take a couple of steps more towards midfield. That one in easily. Tanko saves that one from going out of bounds, as that one will be a 1904 throw-in. Ramos over to Olive, then to Sissoko, to Espinosa, and Espinosa gets that ball taken away. The Force were able to come up with that takeaway pretty easy. And they're playing a fast-paced game. Here we go, 1904. Now they come up on the takeaway. They're going to try to slow things down little by little. There's a whistle there. And very quickly, officials, knowing how things have been getting very scrappy. There's a cross there. Perez snags that one away from the air. So these are good crosses that 1904 has been able to develop, but just a little too much towards Perez, and Perez has been able to read these crosses rather well and being able to come up with some big time deflections, or at least getting in the middle of those crosses. You see there's that pass to the right wing as Sissoko came up, committing the foul. That one just right outside of the 18-yard box. So this free kick, rather close to the goalpost, but not exactly the easiest of shots to make. Here, we'll see what they end up doing, if they end up going with a shot or a pass. There's the free kick, and is right off of the goalpost. Force coming right up with it. They give it back over to the defenders. And you got to be careful with that kick. LA Force getting that one off just in time. As Sissoko trying to come up on the leg race. It's a 2-on-1. Still manages to come up with it. Sissoko gives that one over to Laborio. Laborio running into some traffic. Sissoko has to give that one back over to Norris. And Olive, there's the pass, giving that one to Arreola. Arreola was trying to give that one over to the striker. Not the best of passes to give that one over to the striker. Throw in by Olive. Over to Ramos. Ramos switches sides. Goes to the... Then here we go. Here's an opportunity for 1904. Espinosa still up with it. He's dealing with very good defender there. Good slide tackle to stop 1904 there. So it looks like a substitution is going to be made here. So no more Zavala. Very good player in Zavala, scoring both goals. We're going to wait and see who the new player coming up onto the pitch is. And now coming in is Enrique Cardenas, coming onto the pitch. Cardenas getting his first set of minutes here in this second half. 2-1 score. LA Force leading. There's a... Trying to get the cross off there. And there's another substitution. Sissoko will be going over to the sidelines. His night is over. And coming onto the pitch is going to be Josiah Benjamin. Josiah Benjamin will be coming onto the pitch. He will be getting his first set of minutes. And there's the free kick by Perez. Trying to battle it out. Whistle going against the Force. Olive gives down over to Ramos. He has acres of space there on the left side as Eder Areola will be going over to the sidelines as well. His night is over as well as Laborio. So throw in for 1904. As Espinosa gives down back over to Laborio. And that whistle will be blown. Officials just trying to clean up the dirty play between these two clubs, as that's been the story throughout the game as well. Both of these teams just clashing at each other. And again, it's what you would expect from a game like this. These are two teams just trying to compete every second of this one. Not a second will go by that this game, you can't expect these two teams to not compete. And there's a yellow card. So a yellow card being issued to Christian Cardenas. So another yellow card to add to the deck of cards that this game has already gone. As that free kick was rather short. There's an elevated cross, trying to come up with it. And 1904 still looking for a chance. And that one booted away. 1904 missing their chance there, but not exactly done yet. They do have a corner kick. Look at that replay once again. That one elevated. You can see it was Josiah Benjamin that was there trying to use his height to his advantage. There's the corner kick there. Perez able to boot that one away. Espinosa comes up with it here. There's a shot there. Perez almost losing control of it. So the Force with a huge sigh of relief to say that they still have the lead. Force would be even content if they came up with a draw. Because even with the draw, that would qualify them to the West Coast Championship game. But, you know, they never want to finish the game on a draw. You always want to look for the win if possible. So here's some touches by the Force. Haven't been able to get too many touches throughout the evening. There's some real estate open through the middle as the Force trying to push forward. They give it over to Tanko. Tanko, it's a 2-on-1, running into some traffic, trying to show off some shimmy moves there in the box, and Tanko will be called with a foul. Force players sticking around to add the pressure to the back line. And some pretty impressive moves by the Force there, trying to maneuver away through 1, not 2, but try to go through 3, but 3 not exactly the number for them. They went through 2 defenders there. Espinoza comes up with it. There's a pass there over to the right wing, trying to save that one. And there's a pass there, trying to get that through ball. Not the best of through balls there for 1904. Here's a counterattack by LA Force. And a whistle and a very clear foul going against 1904. It looks like there's another player that's down as well. There's 2 players. And this is the type of thing that we were talking about. When it comes to these cold conditions, injuries can be easy to come by. And that's always the thing that you always want to avoid. That's the last thing you want to see. You never want to see any players get injured throughout the game, especially in a meaningful game like this. So Cardenas, he's going to be escorted off the pitch, but in the very next play, he'll be able to come back. So it looks like there will be a substitution, and Cardenas looks like he's not going to be coming back onto the pitch. So here we go. There's a whistle, and that one going against 1904. And it looks like they're going to have another free kick, but rather close to the 18-yard box. So Ever de la Torre coming onto the pitch. And de la Torre is replacing Christian Cardenas with one of the many yellow cards that the Force have earned tonight. And it looks like that's going to be it for the forward Marvin Merlano also. And so Naeem Charles also coming onto the pitch for LA, and we'll see where the Force will go with this one. 2-on-1. You can see that 1904 putting the pressure there. Whistle being blown. Dead. Throwing 1904. Here's the long pass. Force just trying to stay with the possession here. Sissoko comes up with it rather quickly. So here's a counterattack. 1904 trying to get something brewing there. Whistle going against 1904.
Also goes to the match for LA Force, number 7, Naeem Charles.
So that free kick going a long ways. Cutler all over it. And Josiah Benjamin trying to go through. That's a 2-on-1. Now coming in with the help there. Whistle going against the Force. Ramos looking around the pitch. If he's going to go long or short, looks like he's actually going to go long unless he decides to go short. And it does just that, trying to fake me out. Taking the steps like he was going to go long, instead goes short. Throw in for 1904. 1904 looking for goal number 2 on the night. And how this place would explode if 1904 would score another goal here. Force coming up on the takeaway there. And the Force, good through ball there. They have to slow things down. Instead, they're going to play it smart, take their time on the possession instead of just taking the shot rather quickly. Tenko gives out over to his midfield player. There's a long cross and an offsides call going against the Force. So Cutler was going to do the free kick. Instead, Norris will be up with it. Here's the long kick. And there's a whistle going against the Force. And they're not very happy with it as well. Giovanni Vasquez not happy with that whistle, trying to ask for the other officials' help, saying, hey, where was the foul there? So take a look at that replay once again. Norris comes up with that long kick. You can see that Vasquez was getting some height and trying to jump over Ramirez. And here's a dangerous situation for the Force. Here's a free kick situation. And here's an opportunity for 1904 to change up the ball game. There's only 3 minutes left with stoppage time, so we'll wait and see. This one, pending, that shot, right off of the Force. The Great Wall of the Force, there's a shot there. So take a look at that replay once again by 1904. There was one going off of the Great Wall of the Force. There's a beautiful shot taken off by 1904. That one was actually very close to the crossbar. You can't be disappointed by that shot. Perez decides to goes with a long goal kick indeed. Trying to push 1904 away and keep them on their side of the pitch. Ramos will sky this one up high. Tenko with the header. Espinosa keeps down from going out of bounds. There's a long through ball. Instead, Norris gets a hand on it. Drops that one out. Gives that one to Josiah Benjamin. Olive up with the ball. Coming up with the had acres of real estate open to move forward. Booted away. LA Force ball. Tenko going a long way. Force still coming up with it. .1904. They get a foot on the ball. Instead, it still goes through. It goes through Tenko. Blanco coming up on the slide tackle. Somewhat of a late whistle. They'll say it's a whistle going against the Force. Olive gesturing. He's going to go deep. Decides to go with a low Low kick, giving it over to Cutler. Benjamin pushing forward. He does have some traffic right in front of him. And the ball will go right back to the Force. So here we go. 90th minute, just around the corner now. This is where every position begins to be very key for 1904 if you expect to come back to this one. If you are the LA Force, you want to use the time to your advantage. I mean, not now, 90th minute. We'll wait to see how much stoppage time we'll have here in this one. Expect it to be a very good chunk of stoppage time here in this one. A couple of players going down. We can estimate maybe a good, 3 minutes of stoppage time. Anything can happen within that time. Either the Force can add another one on the board, or 1904 can tie things up and make things very interesting. And in a scenario like this, 1904, if they want to make that final spot, they have to score 2 here. If you are LA Force, you want to at least finish off the game here. 1904 trying to get something brewing. No luck. Throw in. Espinosa. Quick to Ramos. Ramos looking around. There's the cross. Tries to give that one over to Ramirez. Benjamin decides to give that one over to Cutler over on the right side. They're going to switch sides. Cutler. Over to Labarrio. Labarrio. Then tries to give that one over to Ramirez. Then back over to Labarrio. Olive to Espinosa. There's a cross. Looking for some service. Instead, it will go out of bounds. There's some beautiful ball movement there by 1904. Good cross by Espinosa. And instead, no luck there. Ramos was trying to go into the mix and trying to make something happen there. As Perez, here's his goal kick. This one going a very long way. So throwing. Another one for 1904. That one, the last one being booted away. And the Force able to kick that one away. And it looks like it's going to be a corner kick for 1904. So here we go. There's some chances here for 1904 to try to tie things up. And you can see Norris also in the mix as well to try to help some out there. There's the corner kick, and Perez able to hang on to it. Boots that one rather quick. But you can see Norris trying to race over to his goalpost. Does just that. You saw Perez trying to boot that one all the way over to the other side of the pitch to see if maybe he can get a goal all the way from his side of the pitch. So the Force, expect them to hang on to the ball. And there's going to be an offsides call going against the Force. For 1904, you're running out of time. Espinosa trying to come up with a good pass there. Comes up on the stop. Olive helps out there. Olive tries to come up with a shot, but Perez deflects it with both hands. Hangs on to it. Long goal kick. Benjamin putting the pressure. And the Force try to go for another goal here. Tango, there's the shot there, and puts too much sauce on the shot. Here's Norris. Long goal kick, not wasting any time. He knows the time is a factor here. Now, minute number 95. As Espinosa just comes up with a nice through ball. Looks for the cross there. Perez, nobody there in the facility to help out there. Ramos came very late to the party. And there, that one will be booted a long way. As Force trying to fight their way through the corner there on the right wing. Trying to push their way through. As that one going out of bounds. Olive throws that one in over to Ramos. And that's the end of this one, as your Los Angeles Force are going to the West Coast Championship game over in the Championship Stadium in Irvine. And this will be a rematch, just like it was last week. It was LA Force and Cal United. But this time it's going to be at Championship Stadium in Irvine. And the one thing that the Force did do tonight was win on the road, as winning on the road is something very tough to do here in this Western Conference. And you look at this Western Conference and not a single team has won on the road. You look at Cal United with that away record, 0-2-1. LA Force now 1-1-1. 1904 away, 0-0-3. Just look at these replays. That beautiful shot by LA Force, being able to help them to get them on the board. Then look at this dandy right here. Good takeaway there. This one was that red card play that Antoine committed right there to get that stop, which resulted in that free kick. That free kick was done by Alvaro Madrigal Zavala. That was actually Perez on the free kick. Then Zavala came up on that second chance opportunity and was able to put that one into the net. This was the penalty kick. That was by Espinosa. That would be the lone goal for 1904. Then it was Zavala that would put another goal on the board and would be good enough to win this one. The final 2-1 as your LA Force are going to Championship Stadium for that Western Conference Championship game over in Championship Stadium at Irvine. And now it's been officially determined. Cal United will be playing against LA Force for that rematch from last week. And you guys saw what a dandy of a game it was. So hopeful that you guys could join us for the very next game next Sunday on November 10th. That'll be a 4 o'clock Pacific time start time over at Championship Stadium in the beautiful city of Irvine. Hope to see you guys there for that one. If not, hope you guys could tune in. And of course, thank you so much for those of you that have tuned in through every game here for us. I'm Alex Naveja, all signing off here tonight as LA Force win this one 2-1 here in SDCCU Stadium against 1904. And again, thank you so much for tuning in. Signing off. Have a good night, everybody.